This is the Geekery Update with Alan and Brian. I'm Alan.
And I am Brian. And that's the thing that Marvel are probably honestly best at doing in the industry is casting the perfect actor for the roles.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, just absolutely perfect. I remember when they switched over to Mark Ruffalo, I was pissed.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I love Edward Norton.
I love Edward Norton. Fight Club, Death to Smoochie.
He's such a talented actor.
Yes.
So much talent.
American History X, another great movie of his.
Yes, and the only movie I had seen of Mark Ruffalo was this like rom-com with Reese Witherspoon where she's like in a coma and he's living in her apartment. It was kind of,
you know. There's another rom-com where he was in with Jennifer Garner, 13 going on 30.
Yes.
Speaking of, great actors that they're choosing.
Yes, here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Shows Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight. Oscar Isaac, we know him from, the big thing is he was in the Star Wars sequel trilogy as Poe Dameron, which, we all loved him in that. Now, another role that may not necessarily, we didn't really care for him in that, or a whole lot of people didn't, X-Men Apocalypse. He was Apocalypse.
I don't think that was his fault, though.
The way they made him look, of course, everybody was like, oh, he looked like Ivan Ooze in the Power Rangers movie. I don't know a whole lot about Moon Knight.
Okay.
I'm guessing that you know a little bit more than I do. But I do have this. Here it is. I do have this here. Now, as you can see here, I thought this was Blade at first. Evidently, because that's what Blade looked like in his original appearances. He had like a green kind of costume. Jericho Drum, aka Brother Voodoo, it says right here. But that leads me to so we are getting a Blade in the MCU.
Yes, we are. It's going to be a movie.
We got Moon Knight, and okay, so Hulu was going to do a Ghost Rider show that may or may not have been a spinoff of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but it would have had the same actor that was Ghost Rider on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, they nixed that because Kevin Feige was like, I want Ghost Rider for the MCU. And if that would have been, that would not have been in the MCU.
Right.
So, there is a group with Moon Knight, Blade, and Ghost Rider, and some other supernatural-esque characters. Remind me who they are.
Midnight Suns.
There you go. Midnight Suns. So the hope is that they would culminate in this.
Moon Knight's abilities are he's an expert. He's like the Batman of the Marvel universe, but there's some intricacies that make him very unique. So he's an expert detective, martial arts and armed combat. He's an expert at utilizes high-tech equipment. I mean, we're basically talking Batman of the MCU.
Yeah.
What makes this character so unique is he has three, ladies and gentlemen, three different personalities.
Why they got Oscar Isaac for the role? Because they knew he could do that.
I think something that Marvel really wants to do is tackle mental illness head on.
And plus, it gives something for people with mental illnesses. It's like, superheroes they may be called superheroes, but they're not perfect. And It shows a more human side.
I thank you for saying that. I absolutely love that you like how you phrase that. If you think about it, they've already touched on it with Fat Thor, the direct result of depression.
Moon Knight, Oscar Isaac, going to really play up this multiple personality disorder. He's not going to make
dissociative identity disorder.
Okay, thank you. And we're going to know that that's what it's called. We're not going to confuse it with anything else.
Right. If you took dissociative identity disorder and multiple personality disorder, they're very different. In that the people with multiple personality disorders, they can work through it. There's therapy and ways for them to, okay, I can feel something changing, something's happening. Whereas the reason they call it dissociative identity disorder is because you're constantly in flux. You're changing, your personality's changing, and in Mark Spector's case, a change is based off his surroundings and like what he needs to be in that moment.
Okay.
But he doesn't recognize that he's doing it. So he just has these blackout moments. He doesn't think twice of them, and he's just out there doing his thing. He has no idea that there's two. I mean, he might have suspicion because he blacks out, but
Right.
for the most part, people with DID, they don't really know that their personality changes and that they have a different ego. Ready? This is actually a pretty cool, quick little paragraph I found. It's from marvel.fandom.com. Mark Spector, a.k.a. Moon Knight, was a Jewish-American former U.S. Marine turned CIA agent. After leaving both organizations in disgrace, he became a soldier of fortune. He was left for dead in the desert on a mercenary mission in Egypt, where an idol of the Egyptian moon god, Khonshu, saved him and gave him his moon-based powers. So that's his first alias. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have Mark Spector and Khonshu, right? Returning to the U.S. with a newfound lease on life, he took up multiple identities such as Stephen Grant and Jake Lockley to fight crime, which, when alongside childhood trauma, also caused him to lapse back into dissociative identity disorder.